Welcome to the presentation of the integration between Mentor Expedition Enterprise and Oracle Agile EDM. Oracle Agile EDM is also known as E6 and is connected with our integration platform Integrate 2. The handling of the tool environment is quite simple and intuitive. At the beginning, we shortly introduce the advantages of an integration between Mentor Expedition Enterprise and Oracle Agile EDM. Afterwards, we walk through a typical design flow. In the first sequence, a new design is created. Subsequently, the design is saved into PLM. And as soon as your design is reached in status where the generation of the bill of materials or production data is helpful, this step will enable you to produce this data easily with the aid of Integrate. This data will be saved into PLM too. We will have a look to the data in PLM in sequence 3. In sequence 4, we will show you how redesign and design reuse can be handled with Integrate. The important step of library synchronization between your development library and the library information in Oracle Agile EDM will follow in sequence 5. Finally, we will shortly refer to some additional functionalities of Integrate. Integrate 2 helps design engineers with all relevant steps dependent to a product lifecycle management system. This enables on one hand the possibilities of a central, consistent and company-wide identical management and exchange of design and component data. On the other hand, the development engineer can handle all necessary steps directly in the ECAD system itself. This includes standardized, configurable process flows and the easy handling of design templates. The advantage of the usage of design templates will be explained more deeply later on. Workflows are automated, for example, the generation of the bill of materials, a consistent check of it with the data in PLM, the generation of the PCB and pick-and-place information, and the transfer of those data to the PLM system are included. Although the synchronization of the component information between the development library and the product lifecycle management system is a very important issue. Within that, not only misunderstandings or double work can be omitted, but also a real process stabilization is reached. Within all that step, Integrate can be individually adapted to your company needs. Finally, Integrate will speed up your design process and your product management. Out of that, you will not only save time and money, but will increase your process reliability. Integrate is integrated in the well-known environment of the development engineer. All actions are taking place from here. In this case, Integrate is placed into the menu of Mentor Expedition Enterprise DX Designer. The different modules are containing sub-functions which can be individually adapted based on the customer needs. This offers the possibility to respect company-specific processes. In this demonstration, we will show a typical way how Integrate is used in a characteristic workflow of a development. We start our development with the creation of a project. This is typically the first step. Right now, there is not any object existing in PLM for our design. The interface of Integrate is grouped in 3 main areas. The first one handles aspects depending on the project itself. In this case, that includes the project name and the target directory. In the second area, the starting point for our new design is selected. Integrate is offering different possibilities for that. On one hand, the starting point for a new design could be an existing design. This design could either be selected from a network drive or neither from the PLM system. On the other hand, we have the possibility to select templates which was saved on the network drive or in PLM before. The storage in the PLM system opens up the possibility for version-controlled and company-wide defined templates. In this way, also templates can be handled in an own lifecycle. In our demonstration, the template coexists out of a schematic and a PCB template. In addition, we assume in our demonstration that the PCB technology is already known and can be selected from the beginning. Our design will be stored on the file system. We press the OK button and the project will be created. In our example, the schematic diagram and the PCB layout contains already designed elements. We've also already defined how output files have to be created. Based on that definition, outputs like PCB manufacturing data or pick-and-place files will later on be generated. This way of working offers not only the possibility to create company-wide uniform data, but also to predefine necessary settings for that in advance. Up to now, there are still no elements existing in our PLM system. To push the design into the PLM system, the module safe is used. Also, PCB fabrication and assembly data can be created and uploaded, and the bill of materials be transferred with the safe module. 3 important areas should be mentioned in this module. The first one contains functionalities round about the project itself, including the design container and assembly variant independent schematic drawing and the release aspects. In the next part, the PCB is handled including its fabrication data. Finally, we see an area which handles all variant-specific data, including variant-specific schematic drawings, pick-and-place files and bill of materials. In this demonstration, we assume that the development engineer has the possibility to create all objects within the data model. If that would be not the case, he could use the search functionality to search and select existing elements in the product lifecycle management system. Code numbers are created and linked via the Create buttons or the Upload All functionality. This handy button set in addition all checkboxes except Release and Keep Reserve. Those can be selected or deselected based on actual process milestone needs. In this way, the design engineer could decide if he wants to continue with the design, hand over the design to somebody else, or handle release aspects within the PLM. Based on company needs, the release checkbox could, for example, just release the design container, release all created elements, or start the release process within the PLM system. Let's have a look to the Edit buttons. One can be found for the PCB and one for the different assembly variants. Those provide us additional frames to view and edit further information regarding those elements. For example, the PCB Edit button could be used to fill additional README files for the PCB manufacturer. We start the save process with OK. Now the module will create the structure in the product lifecycle management system. Vice versa, metadata is transferred into the design. We will show that later on. In addition, the module will produce PDF files, PCB fabrication and assembly data. Now a BOM comparison report is opened. The information on the different tabs is highlighted with different colors. The first tab contains an overview of the different assembly positions. In this case, all lines are green, because we are transferring our data the first time. All elements are new. If the module will be executed again, the colors will change. The new color will depend on the status of each individual component. It could be that it is new, has been changed, has been deleted, or is just as it was before. The quantity view is shown in the second tab. In each individual line, a different component type is listed. The amount of components and the assembly positions are listed as well. The next tab lists missing components. Those elements are not existing in the PLM library yet. Depending on our company process, the module will stop in such a case or just produce a warning like in our demonstration. Not yet or not any more release components are listed in the next tab. The next to last tab contains those elements out of the design which have neither an ECAD nor a PLM identification number yet. Finally, and the last tab, are those elements listed which are relevant for mechanical engineers. The process will continue after pressing the OK button. As already mentioned, we receive in our demonstration a warning because of the missing components. In our case, we can ignore that. Now Integrate will upload both assembly variants into the PLM system. It creates variant-specific schematic drawings, pick-and-place files and transfers them into the PLM system. Also, it will create Gerber files, the drill plot, and saving all those to the product lifecycle management system. Because of the automation, the save process is really simple. After the setting of the relevant checkboxes in the save module, all data is created and uploaded with just one click. To navigate to our created items and data in Oracle Agile EDM, also known as E6, we can use the Save module in our integration. After the module has loaded, we open the item of our design with the help of the Show button. Here we find the schematic independent schematic drawing. The variant-specific schematic drawings will be shown later. In this example, the drawing frame was automatically filled with the ID, the revision, the date and the timestamp. The other information like the name, the status and so on can be configured in addition. The next file is a zip file containing the design data. In the Multi-Level Structure tab, we see the links to the PCB and the different variant items. We first open the PCB item. In the Document tab, the PCB document and the Innovation document is linked. We open the PCB document item to open the related files. Here we see the drill plot and the Gerber data. First we open the drill plot. The Gerber data is saved in a zip file. Now we navigate to one of the variants. The document item contains 3 files. The first one is a variant-dependent schematic drawing. The second one is an assembly plot. Finally, the third one contains in this example a pick-and-place file as an ASCII file. The bill of materials can be found in the Appropriate tab. It exists out of the PCB and the component itself. In addition to that, Integrate can also save reference designated information as a separate list, as shown here. The shown data structure is of course just an example. The individually structure for your company can be adapted to your needs. Now assume that our design is finished and we want to release our design. In the already running Save module, we activate only the Release checkbox and press the button OK. With the checkbox Release, you can start activities according to your release process. It might be those elements are set to another status or a release process is started in your PLM system. In this case, we directly set the release status for our design document with the release button. If wished, also data can be generated and uploaded automatically once again when the release checkbox is selected. This way of working would guarantee that all output files were generated on the latest status of the design. After some while, we need now to make some changes at the design because of new requirements. We start the module checkout to open the existing project. The search dialog enables us to search for the existing design. In this case, the user interface offering the search via ID or name. Additional search parameters can be added on demand. Because our design is in the status of release, the integration automatically asks the user if a new release should be created. After confirmation with the OK button, the design is downloaded and renamed according to the new revision and the identification number. Again, those steps can be configured according to individual company processes. The next step would be now to change the design and upload it again with the module save to the PLM system. In our demonstration, we delete now one capacitor. Because we use a hierarchical design with reused blocks, this will lead into the deletion of 4 capacitors in the bill of materials. After that, we start the module save once again. In our case, the changes in the bill of materials is now the main point of interest. Therefore, we just select the bill of materials for the relevant 2 variants. Again, we see a BOM comparison dialog, where we now can see the difference to our last version. As already mentioned, there are 4 capacitors now missing in our bill of materials, because of the reused blocks in our hierarchical design. Our missing parts are of course still existing, because nobody has defined them meanwhile in the PLM system. Another important functionality of Integrate is the synchronization of the development library with the library in the PLM system. This will enable you to keep both sides consistent. It's important to know that it doesn't matter if you want to place the new information first into the development library or into the PLM library. The synchronization can take place bidirectionally. Also, component-specific parameters can be exchanged. Now we start the synchronization of the components. After starting the module, as default, the selection of the component classes will be shown. Alternatively, the module can also be configured in such a way that the missing parts from the last bill of materials upload would be automatically loaded. For this demonstration, we have prepared 3 classes. We would have now the possibility to select component classes we want to synchronize. Instead of that, we will use a quick search functionality. Wildcards enable us to search quickly for several components in one step. The components shown here are marked with different colors. Red marked components are not existing at all in the development library yet. Black marked components are already synchronized. Green marked components are not existing in the PLM system yet. Therefore, the column of the PLM system is empty. The blue color is indicating that the parameter information in the development library is different to the one in the PLM system. Some companies organize their components in the development library with the same identification number as in the PLM system. Other companies have an ECAD-specific identification number. Out of that, we use for our demonstration a separate field or parameter in the development library containing the identification number of the product lifecycle management system. This number will be assigned in the PLM system and synchronized with the development library via Integrate. If we start the synchronization, the selected component is created in our PLM system, and the defined metadata is also transferred. It's possible to select several components at once and start the synchronization. Please be aware that synchronization direction can be defined individually for each parameter within the configuration of Integrate. Also, component-specific parameters can be included in the synchronization. In case a status change would now happen in the PLM system, the information will be updated in the development environment according to the defined update cycle in your company. There are different possibilities how that update could take place. The first manual one we have demonstrated in this video. As a second possibility, an automated periodical batch run could take place, for example every night. Also, the status change of a component in the PLM system could be a source of synchronization. Other events inside the PLM system might be also a trigger for an update. Besides the shown elements, Integrate offers further functionalities. The features from mesh and to mesh enables the user to exchange mechanical relevant data with the MCAD team. IDF and step files are some well-known examples in this area. New Project with PLM offers an alternative way to create a new project. This step will connect existing structures in PLM with the project. Out of that, metadata information like the identification number can be found in the project parameter list right from the beginning. Last but not least, the feature New PCB should be mentioned. In the beginning of that demonstration, we created a new project with a schematic drawing and the related PCB technology. There might be the case that the PCB technology is not known right from the beginning. Therefore, the schematic engineer might start only with the schematic and add PCB with the feature New PCB later on. As you could see, Integrate realizes a real coupling between your development environment and your product lifecycle management system. On our homepage you can find further information for this and for other products and services of XPLM solutions. Please feel free to contact us. Our contact information can be found on our homepage too. It would be a pleasure for us to meet you.